I love modded Minecraft. It's probably my favorite game. In this episode, I'm gonna explore the new world and build a cozy starter base with a really cool storage system with a bunch of little dragon guy things flying around. My friends and I recently put up a new modded server with the mod pack called FTB Evolutions. It's a pretty huge mod pack with a ton of different mods, and it has a big overarching quest book. Usually when I play modded, I just stick to the same handful of mods every single time, and so I thought it'd be really fun to not only do a series for this mod pack, but to also try to complete the quest book. I started my journey in the world immediately surrounded by some friends. They gave me some food and then flexed on me with some fancy loot that they found. After turning my camera back on from being technologically challenged, I checked out the skill trees and this mod pack has to offer, allowing us to level up and spend points to upgrade our base stats. We then admired each other's inventories and skimmed around the massive quest book. This will be the main way that I progress through each mod in the pack in the coming episodes. After bullying a chicken who actually liked being in the hole we made for her. Do you like it in there?
Yeah.
I gushed over the quest book a bit more. And then we finally set out on our adventure. Although I very quickly got distracted by a mob with a name I could not pronounce. There's just this little white dot, and if you hover over it, it says Alarcard. I don't remember. Oh. It's this giant fucking crab. Naturally, Ian slew him, as he does to any animal that crosses his path.
Why would you kill him, Anthony? Why would you do this?
I'm building a grave for his home right in front of your house. We continued in search of a place to call home when we found a weird ruined portal, and with my quick wit and cunning intellect, I made an observation most genius. This is like a ruined portal. After sailing south for a bit, we finally hit some land, and soon found an overgrown mineshaft. We quickly realized that we desperately needed some backpacks, so we set that as our primary goal for the moment. We needed string and leather. The string was easy since there were cobwebs all around us, but we had no leather. We soon found out leather could be made by putting rotten flesh on a drying rack, so the hunt for rotten flesh began. While looking for rotten flesh, we ran into our first mini-boss and defeated him with our expert combat abilities.
I nearly drowned to death.
You didn't even come into contact with him and you nearly died. After actually defeating him, we looted the room that he probably spawned in, and I found my first backpack for free. But Ian wasn't so lucky, so our need for rotten flesh persisted. While in the mine, we found out there exists a personal difficulty system where you can rank up to higher difficulties for better loot as you progress through the mod pack. We also found out that you can easily scale up and down between the levels you've unlocked whenever you like, so that you aren't locked into one difficulty. Thankfully, we found a zombie spawner, so our rotten flesh issue was solved, and while looting the spawner room, I found my first relic, which is a type of accessory added in the mod pack that has their own XP and leveling system per relic. The belt I found doesn't seem to be too useful, but there's some pretty strange stuff and interesting relics you can find in general. After farming the zombies for a bit, we finally had what we needed to make a few more backpacks each. Now that we had the storage we needed to keep exploring, we were ready to continue our search for a home. We found our first diamonds, and then set out to grab a noob that just joined for our adventure. On the way to get him, Ian gave me a quick display of his aquatic prowess. After reaching the noob, named Pat, I stepped away for a moment, only to find that he summoned another noob, named Chris, to join our little party. I also decided to turn off my webcam for the sake of immersion. We all allied each other so we could see each other on the minimap, and then we went back to the mines together so the noobs could get the loot chests. Since the loot is generated per player, everyone gets their own loot. But first, Ian tried to feed Chris some poison berries, which she noticed were poisonous, but ate anyways. Ian served as a tour guide for the noobs, as I did what I do best, nothing. After getting destroyed by a zombie, I realized we forgot to place the bed back down, so I respawned all the way back at spawn. The trek back wasn't too long, and I immediately grabbed my things and demanded the bed to be placed so I could set my spawn. While exploring the caves, I told a very funny joke. Benson Boone's actually the final boss in this. Okay, I'll laugh at once at my hilarious joke, why don't you? We soon stumbled upon a dungeon and decided to break our way in. The noobs died, and we ended up breaking the bed and forgetting to place it down again, so they went all the way back to spawn, just like I did. Ian and I started looting while they made their way back, and noticed a massive zombie-infested tank room with walls lined with loot below us. Pat and Chris finally made it back, but Pat immediately died again. We each took to a tank and slowly tried whittling down the horde below us. We finally managed to do it and spent like the next hour and a half looting the copious amounts of chests in that dungeon, all while being chased down by overpowered straggler zombies every so often. We found enough gear and resources to have a small fortune each, but my favorite things that I came across were a helmet that makes me smaller, and a sword with an enchantment called Life Mending on it, which allows my sword to repair from health that I would regenerate. I slurped up a man-handled suspicious stew thrown to my feet by Chris, who had found it in a dark and musty chest, because I can't think of anything that sounds more appetizing. Then, on our way back to the surface, I pulled a quick prank on Ian. After what felt like years, we crawled out of our loot hole far richer and slightly older than we entered. We continued south in search of our homeland when I pranked Ian again, and then accidentally super pranked him by burying him alive. Karma acted quickly though, as I accidentally did the same thing to myself, this time trying to do it to Pat. A few nights passed until we eventually found the perfect place to call home, a very magical and fantastical biome with tall pine trees and crystals sprouting from the bluish purple earth. While Ian diligently built his house, I found and tamed a horse, as I really love horses in this game and wish they were more viable as a transportation method. Now, back at home with new horsey, Ian found a relic that allows him to do damage to anything that touches him, so Chris used him to level up her defense stats. Ian also stole a waystone from a nearby village, giving us a teleport spot for our new home area. I started scouting around the area to get ideas for what I wanted to build when I found a massive crater in the side of a mountain that I had to stop and awe at. I tied my horse up near Ian's house and then started on a little starter house on the other side of the biome, but quickly got distracted by the idea of setting up a simple path to connect all of our areas. I then went idiot perfection mode with a little leaf archway leading towards my nothing of a home so far, when I pulled a Chris and decided some poison berries might hit the spot. This mod pack has 3 different block retexture mod things. Those that have played with modded Minecraft before might recognize mods like Chipped or Chisel. This mod pack has Chipped and 2 different updated ports of the Chisel mod, since it stopped getting updates from the original mod author a while ago. While I'm usually all for as many extra decorative blocks as possible, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't slightly annoying. Because I found that so annoying, and because my inventory is full of backpacks filled with a bunch of junk, I built a furnace at Ian's house and ran over there to smelt up some stone for my house. I started working on my house some more and wanted to mention that I found a couple of very useful relics earlier. One is a boot, yes, singular, that allows me to walk on water, and another is a ham called the Infinity Ham that regrows its meat over time, basically serving as infinite food. I made a couple of custom doors for my house and then decided I hated having my inventory so full constantly, so I made a few super large chests to temporarily store my things away. I read a little bit about my relics, ate a little ham, and then went to explore the huge crater from earlier. After mining a little, I found a silverfish spawner, which I immediately broke because I hate silverfish. I then thought about how badly I wanted to use limestone for the walls of my house, and tried to see if there was any easy ways to craft it. Unfortunately for me, the only way I could get it at my current state would be to mine it. I remembered seeing some at the mine we had all explored earlier, so I decided to go there to collect it. On my way out though, I found some diamonds. I found this item called a balloon on a stick, which would grant me creative flight in a short radius around it. I made 6 in total, so building could be much easier, but also so I could get into Pat's house. You see, Pat has got a bunch of gear that gave him anti-gravity effects, allowing him to jump like super high. So he built his house up in a tree where only he could access it, and I'd been eyeing it from the ground for days, wondering what the inside looks like. I could have just pillared up, but that's boring. I checked to make sure he wasn't home yet, and made my way up, sneakily. I don't know what I was expecting when seeing the inside of his spruce cube for the first time, but it definitely wasn't 25 wolves. I saw he was on the way back, so I quickly looked for a hiding spot in a completely undecorated box filled with wolves. I found my spot, brushed past a couple of wolves, and tucked myself into it and waited. As he approached, he hesitated after seeing my balloon posts, then continued in and locked eyes with me. I forgot to mention that he also upgraded his size in this skill tree, so he's now 3 blocks tall instead of 2. I collected my post, chomped me ham, and went on my way. Back at my construction site, instead of working on my house, I read the quest book some more. Then I made a hang glider to finally go get that limestone, but it didn't even really help because it's only useful for gliding from somewhere high up, and I was sort of like at a ground level the whole time. I made it back to the old mine and was making my way to the limestone when I ran into Pat and his wolf army. I watched in horror as he shot one in the back of the head. I fled like a coward from the animal abuse I witnessed. I looked around for the limestone I knew was somewhere around the area while ignoring the helpless cries of Pat's dogs, and eventually found it. With an inventory full of my precious stone that looks nothing like limes, I eated my ham to the bone and went back home, but not without grabbing some moss first. On my way back home, I saw yet another victim of Pat's abuse. Thanks to my balloons, I got a lot done on the house, but unfortunately I went to bed in real life. And then the next day I got on, I was distracted again, then went to show Ian how to get into Pat's house. I then took Ian to my place and showed him my incredibly spacious interior. Afterwards we explored a bit and found a floating island, so we started pillaring up to satiate our curiosity. After a slight hiccup, we made it to the top of the island, only to find a lone house infested with pillagers. Naturally, we turned the pillagers into the pillaged and left. I went back home and made a lot of progress on my starter house. I moved all my chests inside and started the oh-so-fun activity of sorting my inventories, something I can't wait to not have to do ever again. I at some point found a jellyfish relic that does damage to anything that touches me, like the one Ian has, and was testing it out on some squid when this happened. Finally, back in my house, I was back on track and working on texturing it so I could truly call it complete. I immediately got distracted again and went to visit some other friends on the server so I could activate their waystone. After that, a prank was in order, so I took all of their items and put them in a chest way up in the air. After potentially starting a war on Pat's behalf, I actually finished my little starter house. All that was left was to add a proper storage system because I'm too disorganized to have a bunch of chests. I decided Ars Nouveau's storage system would be perfect for my starter setup because it's pretty simple and cheap, but also it has these cute little wyverns that do all the organizing for you. I did, however, need to make a spell book, so after making one, I very quickly got sidetracked with it and began playing with all the different ways I can make spells and customize their appearance. I eventually made a weird little smoke thing and then ran off to show everybody. Now, Pat, I got something for you. I could see that my smoke wasn't annoying enough just yet, so I messed with it even more, and after wasting about an hour, this is what I came up with. Finally, back on track, I continued towards my goal for my dragon storage by going through the quest book. I set up my little source gathering area, stole a watermelon slice, and started crafting everything up. First, I made a fancy stick, then the storage lectern for searching through my items, and then finally the ritual to summon my little bookworm, like a dragon worm. Get it? Like, not a worm, but like a dragon worm. With everything all made and set up, I just had to tell the little guy which chest to rummage through with my fancy stick, and my storage is automated. I slept easy that night, knowing that I never had to suffer with disorganized chests again, but ambition spilled into my heart, filling my head with ideas of an ancient elven gothic library, decorated with bookworm librarians, but that'll have to wait for the next episode. For now, I'll enjoy my little cottage. Thank you so much for watching. I'd like to thank my patrons real quick. Oh, right, I don't have any because nobody even likes me and everybody I know wants me dead. I'd also like to thank today's sponsor. It's me, because I don't have a sponsor, it's just me. Please like and subscribe. I have no sponsors.